Celina Graves grew up in a small town where the challenges she faced as their family came to grips with her mother's drug addiction were keenly felt by young Celina. She developed her own ear for piano and guitar, and with her father's encouragement, she posted videos on YouTube, earning an astounding 6 million views at the age of 16. While Celina strives to inspire people to be themselves and never change for anyone or anything, and her voice captures the spirit of so many as she writes and sings from the heart. And Celina Graves is best known for her performances on season 15 of America's Got Talent, progressing to the semifinal round. And Celina is anxiously anticipating the release of her debut CD to follow her pop dance single, Changing Ways, on the 3-2-Go music label. So without further ado, let's welcome the beautiful voice and the inspiring soul that she is, the one and the only Celina Graves. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's good to be here. It's a pleasure.
Oh, well, tell me right off the bat, what was life like growing up in Mira Mesa, California?
Mira Mesa. I had a great childhood, although school wasn't very fun for me because I was always made fun of and bullied because of the way that I looked and the way that I dressed because I wasn't like all the other girls. So, um, yeah, that kind of made me who I am today and made me want to inspire others to be themselves no matter what.
Yeah, and I like that about you because when I saw all of your performances on America's Got Talent, to me you stood out. And I really watched the show more for the singers than anything else.
Yeah.
I think as there's a lot of stories that a lot of recording artists have, and I want to kind of step back in time a little bit because your father was a professional musician. What did he play?
Well, he's a singer and he plays the bass. So he's been in a band since I was born. And so I would always go to his rehearsals and I would play with the instruments at a very young age. And I would catch on really quickly. And they're like, wow, she actually has some musical talent. So it was kind of surprising for them to see me follow my dad's footsteps.
So what did you learn from him?
Um, Well, the singing, of course. I remember being sitting in the. I would always be shy to sing in front of anybody, especially my dad, because he's just such a phenomenal singer. So we'd be in the car and music would be playing, and I'd try to sing, and he'd be like, "Take a deep breath and sing out." So like he would just really teach me how to belt out that strong voice that I was able to show on the show, because I would always sing so softly, and I just learned to just go up there and let those nerves go and just share the talent that God gave.
Well, how did YouTube help you in developing your talent?
At first, it was just I was posting videos for fun. I loved recording it and then listening it back and watching to see how like I looked when I was singing, and because I would always sing in the mirror and with I'd use my hairbrush as a microphone, and so posting those videos was really just also an outlet for me to have my family and other states be able to see me singing. So I would send them the YouTube link and they would go on there, and it just by accident I got millions and millions of views, and then people started recognizing me on the street, and I started getting song requests, and people asked me to sing at events. So it was just a really big outlet for me to be able to broadcast my voice.
Well, how did you learn to play piano and guitar? I mean, did you learn those just by playing by ear?
Yeah, I cannot read music. So we had a baby grand piano growing up, and that was one of my favorite things to do. I'd get home from school, and the first thing I'd do is I'd put on my headphones and I would listen to it's when Alicia Keys' song and Songs in A Minor CD came out, and I would sit there and I'd listen to the piano on the back of the song, and I would rewind it, and I'd play it on the piano and rewind it again until I actually got it completely. I could play the full song by ear.
You know,
Yeah.
I love the fact when I talk to recording artists and the ones that tell me that they've learned by ear, I think that is just a phenomenal talent.
Yeah.
And it was really funny because just the other day I was on Facebook and I was reading a post from another artist who is a well-known guitar player, and he was stating that how the age of kids today are getting younger and younger, and how great they are at playing guitar as an example, but they keep following I guess, the music to the exact note that themselves are not coming out. So for you,
Right.
learning by ear, to me, I think that's even better for a musician because then you can add your own flavor to it.
Right. And I took lessons, but it was funny because I would pretend that I was reading it when my instructor was like, because I'd go home, I'd practice, but I'd memorize it, but I wouldn't really know how to read the notes. And I'd come back and she's like, "Oh, you're amazing." And I was like, "Thank you." But I was really just playing by ear. I had no idea what I was doing as far as reading music.
Well, I think probably the one of the most famous musicians or recording artists of all time that learned by ear and still plays that way today is Elton John. So
Yes,
you're in perfect company. I mean, when I saw the movie about Elton and when they showed him as a young child and he played that piano piece for the teacher, and the teacher goes, "Well, why didn't you finish it?" And he goes, "Well, that's all you played."
right.
I just love that. But to me that is a phenomenal talent. And now for you, what was the defining moment that when you realized you wanted to pursue music?
Well, I've been an athlete my whole life. So I was a star soccer player. I was training to be in the Olympics. I had scholarships for certain colleges that I wanted to go to, full rides. And I had torn my ACL. It was my senior year of high school. So at that point, I had surgery and I lost all of the scholarships. So I got really depressed, really down, and I knew I had this vocal ability, so I turned to music to just it made me feel whole, it made me feel better, and I realized how I impacted other people by putting my music out there. And I even went to like hospitals to sing to patients and stuff like that. So like that really, at that point I was like, this happened for a reason, and this is what I'm supposed to do. So it's my passion.
Well, and we can see that passion, when you sing. And when you auditioned for America's Got Talent, what led you to do that? And did you try any of the other music shows?
I've watched America's Got Talent since season one, so I always pictured myself on that stage on the Red X with a microphone singing, but I never really tried to audition for it at all. So it's just crazy. One day I was driving to work and I looked in my email and there was an email from them saying, "Hey, would you like to audition for the show?" And I was like, "Well, that's just so crazy," and I didn't think it was real. And so I gave them my information to call me, and one of the producers called me and was like, "Hey, did you want to audition for the show?" And it's really different how when you're recruited than when you actually like try to get through an audition on your own. So I was recruited and I got to skip the line. I got what's called a Q ticket. So you skip the line, you go straight in front of the executives for the show, and that's how, I mean, I guess it was just meant to be, you know?
So did you have to sing before you stepped out on to the stage before the four judges?
Yes. So it's a whole process. It's not like you line up, it's not what it seems. You don't line up out there and then sing straight in front of the judges. You have to go through steps in order to even be selected to get to that point. And even if you do get in front of the judges, it's not a guarantee if you get four yeses that you will be aired on TV. So,
Wow.
yeah,
Oh, so even if you got four yeses, that's not even a guarantee to be seen on television.
correct. So they go
Did I
through it.
did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow. Well,
Yeah.
for you, and I've asked this question before back in the day when Simon was, on American Idol. So for
Mhm.
you, what was it like to sing in front of Simon Cowell?
Honestly, I had a mild panic attack backstage, especially when you're standing back there and you're next and you hear his voice and then you hear the ant, like, because people, they don't like it. And I was hearing Simon say some pretty crazy stuff. So that him, he was the one I wanted to impress the most. But I walked out there and they didn't show this. But when I walked out there, he could tell that I was nervous. So he asked me if I wanted water because I was shaking. And then Terry Crews comes out, he brings me the water, and then he had to open it for me. And this is in front of 2,500 people. Like, and I'm just standing there, it's silent, and I'm just drinking water. It was crazy. So he was like, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "Yeah." And then surprisingly, I impressed him. I feel the most out of all three of them. So it was pretty crazy.
Yeah, because because I, I watched the audition when the first song that you sang,
Mhm.
and Simon was the one that stood up at the end.
First,
So,
yeah.
and to me, it's always a sign that if Simon stands up, he likes you.
Yeah, I didn't see that part until I watched the show because I blacked out. Honestly, I walked out there, I sang, but I completely just blacked out everything until they were saying yes.
Well,
So,
when you were singing the song, and towards the end, it seemed you got very emotional. And then when the song ended, you just dropped to your knees. What were you thinking at that point?
it was just an overwhelming feeling, like, the energy I could feel from the crowd, it was just an overwhelming feeling that I had never felt before, so I kinda just collapsed. I was just like it didn't feel like it was real life, it was pretty surreal. So I was emotional because I didn't feel like I was gonna get that reaction from everybody, and it was just incredible.
Well, did Simon give you any advice backstage?
Yes,
And what
yes.
was
So
that?
Um, it was I didn't expect it, because I got off stage and they take a break in between, so he had walked up to me, he put his hand on my shoulder and goes, "Thank you for auditioning for the show, you're gonna go really far." And, like, I was kind of in shock, and then he walked away, so I didn't even get a chance to say anything back, but the fact that he took the time to say that to me, I felt like it meant, that maybe I might go really far.
Yeah, I think when Simon speaks, people listen. And
Yeah.
because I think out of all of the judges, he is the
Mhm.
one that everybody wants to impress. I mean, I've talked to people who were on American Idol, and I'd ask them the question, "What was it like to sing in front of Simon Cowell?" And the words are like scared, terrified, horrified,
Yeah,
because they're just so nervous because this guy literally listens intently. And for some, if you ever watch Simon when he's watching singers and he closes his eyes, that's when he's really, really listening because I
right.
think he's searching out for the next big star.
Right. And
You
what was
know,
going through my mind was like, he's listened to so many people sing. I have to stand out in one way or another. Otherwise he's not gonna like it.
yeah, and I like this version of Simon versus the version on American Idol. He
Yeah.
seems to be more of a mentor and an encourager.
Hmm.
Now,
At least
before you sang, and you were on stage, you mentioned that you weren't accepted for the way that you look, but Simon came back and said that don't ask for a stylist, just be who you are. What did that mean to you?
that meant a lot to me. And I was honestly shocked because that was the main thing I was gonna because when you're an artist, it's all about image, not just, you know, like who you are as a person, but like how you look on the outside. And that when he said that to me, it kind of validated the fact that, hey, well, he's seen so many artists. He's huge in the music industry. So like that kind of validated the fact that, well, maybe I don't have to change, and I wasn't anyways. There could have been no amount of money any label could have offered me to change, but that meant a lot to me for him to say that I could do it without having to change and look like somebody else.
Well, and I give kudos for Simon for saying that to you because to me that was a little magical moment that maybe some people noticed, maybe some people didn't. But there's a lot of people out there that need to hear that. Be who you are, don't change
Right.
for any reason, and that gives you strength, doesn't it?
It did. And so that kind of gave me the confidence to just, go forward and never change. It was a big boost for me.
So, what was it like after the audition and then coming into the next rounds? I mean, what was some of the things What's the process backstage when you go to the next round? I mean,
Hmm.
anywhere from, let's say, from wardrobe to song choice. How does that work?
It's a lot. It's very tedious. It's a lot of like stress, emotional stress. You want to pick the right songs because you don't want to, I wanted to showcase my voice in the best way possible, but I also didn't want to sing a song that nobody knew and they're like, what is that? Um, but with it was during COVID, so that was also something that was kind of intense and different because it was the first year they ever had to go through something like that. So I had to stay in a hotel. I was there. We couldn't leave. Our food was brought to our door. We couldn't leave unless we had like press interviews, wardrobe rehearsals, and then the song choices, vocal coaches, and stuff like that. But the song choice was really hard for me because I would give my suggestions, and they would come back with like, "Well, this is our list, so why don't you try and pick a song that we suggest?" So it wasn't really up to me, and
Well,
I had to
then,
learn.
well, then let me ask you this, Selena, because if they have a song list, is that list compiled by them from the point of view of what would be great for your voice? Or is there a tug of war between you and them trying to find the right song?
I think a little bit of both. Um, I know that my best interest was in their minds at that time, but um, having to learn so for the quarterfinals, that was a song I never heard before. I was really skeptical of singing it because I never heard this artist. It's a completely different type of genre that I've ever sang before. So I had to make it my own, and they rearranged it and did so much to it. And I didn't want to sing it at first. I was like, I don't think I can do this. But as I started to sing it more and more, it grew on me, and um, yeah, I think that was one of my favorite performances, honestly, the quarterfinals when I sang
Well,
"Strong."
if you're singing a song you've never heard, you've never sung before, how and so then it's the song that you choose. How many times are you kind of singing it to yourself until you kind of find the vibe? You find the area where you start to become one with the song. What's that kind of process like?
Well, for me, I'm such a perfectionist, so anywhere I went, I had headphones. If I was at the gym, or if I went to eat, or anywhere, any time that I could, I would be listening to it over and over, trying to find ways that I could change it to where, how is Celina going to sound singing? It's not London grammar. That's one of my favorite things to do is take a song and make it sound completely different than the actual artist, make it sound like me, and it's just natural. It's not like I don't have to think hard. I just hear things and I'm like, oh, I should go up this at this part. So yeah, that is just a constant just rehearsal over and over in my head, no matter where I am.
Yeah, and I think Simon is the only one. Of course, he's the only one with absolute. He can judge music. The other three, they're there, but
Right.
Simon knows how to judge and tweak music. And
Hmm.
I think he appreciates the fact that when someone steps out singing somebody else's song, that it's on the song list, and makes it their own, instead of coming out there singing the song like the original artist, basically doing a karaoke performance, because that pretty much ticks him off.
Exactly. And I think that's a good point because I think that's why they can't do certain songs like "If I Ain't Got You" by Alicia Keys because there's a whole bunch of songs that are over sung. So it's like I get where they're coming from at that point, and then there's also songs they can't get approved because they have to get the approval of the actual artist to be able to do those songs on the show. So yeah, it was pretty stressful. That the song choices was so important to me, and I think I did a good job of that.
So how did the whole wardrobe thing work out? I was watching the video when you wore the pink blazer and the pants, and you were. Was that a rooftop? Were you
That
you
was yeah, that was really high up. Um, and it was really windy, so I'm like, okay, I had to keep drinking like water and tea to make my voice, because it was windy up there. And you only get one chance. So that outfit was my favorite outfit. They had it's really cool how they have a section for me, and I gotta get to go through and pick which one I wanted. And I felt like for that song, for the Jealous song, I wanted to look really formal and nice. And with the rooftop setting at night, and then initially we were gonna have fireworks too. They had practiced having fireworks in the back when I did a big note, and it kind of scared me. So it was like, okay, let's just go back. Let's go back to just the lights. But yeah, they tailored the outfit, and then they let me keep it. They let me choose, which was really nice, And they had a whole bunch of selections that I feel like they knew me in a way. They're like, oh, well, they studied me, and they're like, oh, she would like this, which was crazy. I was like, I like everything that you guys put here. So
Wow. That says a lot for the people that put that show on. And it's one of my, out of all the competition shows today, I like
mhm.
America's Got Talent the best.
Me too.
And I even watched the extreme version not too long ago, and I
Mhm.
like that one as well. But I was going to ask you, because you were standing on the rooftop without an audience to feed off of. Was that due to COVID?
Yes, yes, and it was taped. So it was considered live because it was one shot, one take. That's how they did it for fairness reasons. You get one shot, but there was tons of producers up there. I mean, you had cameras everywhere moving around, and it was just really intimidating. Um, but yeah, I felt a little at ease not having that audience. I kind of was a little more calm, but the fact that I knew it was just one shot, one chance still
A little
was really nerve
nerve
wracking.
wracking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, then, so you made it to the semifinal round. When you weren't picked for the final, what were the emotions that you dealt with?
Well, there was a lot of emotions. At that point, there were so many things going through my head, like, oh, they already know who they want to win. Um, it doesn't seem right. Is it rigged? Because I mean, I'm being biased because I just know my talent and what I can offer. So it was really hurtful, but I was really glad and happy for the other people because, like I said, I mean, I made friends with them and I was always rooting for them. But there is a little piece inside of me that's like, like how did this even happen? So it was really, really, I was distraught, but at the same time, the fact that I even made it that far, like how many people can say that they've made it to the semifinals on America's Got Talent. Like that to me, it was just an accomplishment, and it opened so many other doors to other shows and other, just things that I could do in my life. So I'm okay with that.
Yeah, one of the, and it's a question I usually ask people when they appear on these types of shows. Um, and the only thing that really bothers you, and America's Got Talent is actually set up in a much different way. Because like you said, not everybody is going to make it to the audition stage at the beginning. Some who do make it may not appear on television. And, because they got to throw in the bad acts just for entertainment purposes, you
Yeah.
know. And, but when I've watched the other shows, and I think American Idol is probably the worst, where, and I say it not from the judge's point of view, but I've known a lot of people who went on that program and walked away from their dream forever. And to me, it's crushing because sometimes, especially when Simon was on that panel, when you had the
Right.
original, him and Randy and Paula, there were people who walked away from their dream forever and never picked up another microphone. And to me, there's a lot of talent out there, and I don't think they should have taken it so hard per se, because a lot of that stuff was edited for television.
Right.
But I've been told people would walk away from their dream and never pursue it again. And I think that if you truly believe in yourself, you have the talent, Stop listening to
Yeah.
other voices, including the famous ones that may be sitting in front of you. They don't know all.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, because they know what they're looking for the show. And
Exactly. That's it right there.
yeah,
Right there.
and I think that for a lot of people, they just need to realize, if that's if you want to pursue music, keep at it. They were just a set of voices for the day.
Hmm.
They're not the ones that make the final decision. It's what's in your
Exactly.
heart and what's in your spirit and what you want to pursue. And I could tell that, Celina, in you, when you first stepped on that stage for your audition. I'm like, I could tell you were nervous,
Yeah,
but I think the dream just poured out of you.
it did. And I feel like even if I got a no, I know my talent and I know how I impact other people regardless. And I know that this is my passion. So it wouldn't have stopped me from being a musician, an artist ever.
So after appearing on America's Got Talent, how did that set the ball rolling for your career?
Well, then we had I had American Idol contact me, and we have The Voice, and I don't think anybody knows, but American Idol has a cutoff age. So I know before it didn't, but if you're 28, I
25?
think
Oh,
28.
28?
Mm-hmm. 28 is the cutoff. Um, I've also, I mean, I've gotten booked for tons of events, headlining shows, weddings, so many other opportunities, and being able to record with such amazing people and meet amazing people and artists and producers. It's opened so many doors for me, and jump started my career. And I feel like you don't need to win those shows to become successful. You know.
Right. Oh, absolutely. Now, what are some of the people that you've had the opportunity to work with, and what kind of advice or inspiration did they give you?
I've gotten to work with Frankie J. I don't know if you know who Frankie J is. The sugar, sugar, how you get so fly. So that was a cool opportunity to work with him. And same thing, just always be yourself. After watching me on the show, just people are just always saying like you inspire so many people, and to hear that from these type of people is just it's crazy. And then I work with the Kingsmen. So I just got back from Philly last week. I'm recording an album. I'm a few songs shy away from finishing it, and they're amazing people. I don't think I would have met them if I didn't go on the show. um, it's just been such a crazy busy ride since I've been off, and I'm just so excited to share what I've been working on. And my fans, I'm sure, are waiting because it's been a long time coming.
Well, who are your musical influences?
I would say I would say Alicia Keys, of course, because that's like kind of like the genre and the vibe that I give off. But then you have like the Chris Brown, so I'm like a mixture with like the dancing, the Chris Brown dance moves, and the hip hop vibe, R&B vibe, and then like I'm like very versatile. So it's tough, but I would say Alicia Keys and Chris Brown.
See, I can see Alicia Keys in you. And
Yeah,
I think there'd be nothing more awesome than to see you and Alicia do a duet together.
that would be crazy. That would be really crazy. Let's speak that into existence, please.
I will be in agreement with you, Celina. So we will speak that and say it will happen. So Alicia, if you're watching or listening, hey, there's a perfect duet waiting for you right now. And Celina, what sets you apart from other artists?
You know, I feel like a lot of artists now, or that we know of now, have not struggled. Like I've been there. Like you have Justin Bieber. He was discovered at a very young age. Um, I'm 33, so like I actually struggled and worked and have been at the lowest points of my life. As far as like financially and um, just putting myself out there. And I think that part of it, not just getting discovered and immediately signed and boom, you're famous, um, and also just being who I am. I don't look like any other artist out there right now. I feel like um, my orientation is out there. So I think a lot of artists now they hide it, or that when they were coming up, it was like I've even had labels say, well, you know, don't say anything. Don't let people know because they're then then people aren't gonna want to buy your music. And I just being just genuinely myself and hiding, not hiding, and
Yeah.
I think that's what sets me apart. I'm just myself. That's
You know,
it.
it's funny because I think a lot of people who have a musical talent are waiting to be discovered. But part of that discovery only happens when you make an absolute step of faith.
Yeah,
And for you to answer the email from America's Got Talent, but the bigger step was to walk out on that stage,
yeah,
and that's what gets the ball rolling. That's how people, to me, are truly discovered. You have got to
right.
put part of yourself out there so that they can discover you. You know,
Yeah,
you
that's
can lock
part of it.
yourself in your bedroom, but that phone call is never going to come.
Yeah, and I've gotten no so many times. I remember because I did The Voice. I went all the way to San Francisco. I think it was like 3 years before America's Got Talent had contacted me, and I did it a few times, and they said no. You just don't have it. No, you don't have it. So it was just to be turned down so many times. You kind of just are like, well, I want to give up. I got to my lowest point. I was like, what is wrong? Like, what am I doing wrong? Do I not sound good? Is there things that I can change? What can I work on? And I felt like the whole time it was because my image wasn't what they were looking for, you know? So that
Well,
part was really
that's really odd because with the voice, and this isn't a negative, it's just the way it is, but most of the artists are those who want to be recording artists that appear on The Voice. It's pretty much vanilla. I
yeah,
mean, you know, they're judging the voice, which is why they're not looking at them, which
right.
I think is a good thing.
Yeah,
You
that
know,
would have been perfect because they would have turned around and never expected the voice to be coming out of me. Like I look like a rapper, you know?
well, the funny thing would be is if you did, if you stood on the stage of The Voice, but only during the season in which Alicia Keys was there.
Oh, that would have been amazing. That would have been so amazing.
but
She needs to come back.
yeah, I agree with that. And much bigger things are coming to you. So, Celina, what is next for Celina Graves?
Well, what's next is for me to release this album. And I am really, really excited about releasing this album. And then it's not 100% yet, but we might be thinking about going on The Voice.
Really?
In the works.
Wow. Well, you know what? God's got a plan. And if that's the plan, then we're going to cheer you on. And from home, we'll already have our chairs turned around for you.
Yes, thank you. I need
So where can all of my viewers and listeners find out more about you, your website, or any of the social medias that you have?
all my social media handles are Celina Graves Official. So it's Celina with a C, Graves like graveyard official. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and also TikTok. I just started TikTok, so gotta follow me on TikTok.
I have not figured out. I have an account. I've not fully figured it out yet, but one of these days I'll figure out the
Too.
whole TikTok thing.
I can't keep up with all of them. There's so many to keep up with.
Oh, you find out that it's literally a whole job.
It
And what
is.
yeah, and there's people who literally just do that for a living, and I can see why, because it takes up so much time.
It does. It's exhausting.
Well, Celina, I want to thank you so much for coming onto the program, sharing your story. and I cannot wait for the new album. So you have to promise me. So when you debut the new album, you've got to come back so that way we can talk about that new album and get everybody to buy that music. And ladies and gentlemen, you know what I say every time I interview an amazing recording artist. You buy the music, stop downloading it for free, because that's not how it's done, ladies and gentlemen. You buy the music, you buy the t-shirt, you buy the concert tickets. If you have a favorite artist, you support that artist. If you have 10 of them, support all 10. So, and for those of you who are big Celina Graves fans, buy that album. Okay, I may have to track all of you down if I catch you downloading it for free, because that's not fair to her or the people behind that album. Isn't that right, Celina?
Yes, that's true. It's a lot of work that goes into that.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on to the program. And again, please, you are welcome back. I want to talk about that new album when it comes out. And much success and blessings to you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure. I can't wait to come back.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, stick around. We'll be right back after this.